This is Priscilla Martinez, and you're listening to Tuned Into NoCo. January is National Blood Donation Month, and today I'm speaking with Anna Johnson from the UCHealth Garth England Blood Center. How are you today, Anna?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. For listeners who are unfamiliar, can you please tell us about the UCHealth Garth England Blood Center, what you do, and where?
Yes. So I am the manager of the Garth England Blood Center. We are a hospital-based blood center. We provide blood and blood products to hospitals in northern Colorado. We are the local place where people can donate blood. So a lot of people know about the American Red Cross or some of those larger organizations. And we do the exact same thing, except for the blood collected in northern Colorado goes to support patients in northern Colorado. We have two main locations, one in Fort Collins and one in Loveland. And we also have two buses that we take out into the community and host mobile blood drives at local businesses or breweries or just anywhere that we're invited.
If the people can't get to you, then you can get to the people.
Yes.
And Anna, how did you get into this field?
I am a medical laboratory scientist. I worked in the laboratory, kind of testing blood for patients. I worked in blood bank at one point, so I was setting up the blood for transfusion into different patients who needed it. And that's when I heard that there was a need for blood donors. And this was when I was living out of state. But ever since I started donating blood, I just wanted to keep doing it in some capacity. So I feel very excited that I've been given the opportunity to manage a donor center. It's something that fills me up. It makes me very excited and happy to give so selflessly to others. And I love giving the opportunity to our donors to give to strangers. They give blood totally without any expectation. It's just a wonderful way for someone to be completely selfless. And when you can do so in your own neighborhood with your own community, I think that that's really important.
Yeah, of course. Sounds like you're a smart cookie. I love it. That's awesome.
Thanks.
So I've heard that blood supplies are lower right now. Is that true? And if so, why?
So there is a national blood shortage. We've been very blessed in our community that our pleas for additional blood have been heard by our donors. So we are currently at okay levels of inventory. That's not to say that we don't still want donors to come and see us consistently or to donate. I just don't want to scare anyone and for them to think that we don't have enough to treat people. We do. We definitely do. I think that there's been a lot of uneasiness the last couple of years with COVID, and that's maybe changed people's comfort levels with going out and donating blood. And a lot more people have been sick. So if you aren't healthy and well, it's not a good time for you to donate blood. So I think that has played a large role in the national shortage.
And do you send blood elsewhere also?
We currently supply Poudre Valley Hospital, Medical Center of the Rockies, Longs Peak Hospital, Greeley Hospital, and the hospital in Estes Park. Occasionally, we can send some inventory to Denver, but for the most part, we only supply hospitals in our region.
Yeah, so it's needed. I mean,
that's
not a little bit. That's a lot of places. It's a lot of people.
It is a lot of places with just a couple of small donor rooms, but they make amazing things happen here. And I'm really proud of the team that we have. And I love getting to interact with the donors that come and see us.
What blood types do you need the most right now?
O and A's are usually the top needs. And so that's O negative or O positive or A negative or A positive. That's just what most people are in our population. And so O's and A's are definitely a usual need. We are also in need of platelet donors. That is a little bit different of a setup. You are hooked up to an instrument, a lot like plasma donation centers. And so the blood comes out of your body into a machine, and then we keep the platelets and give you your red cells and plasma back. So platelets are always in need too, and that's all blood types.
And how can people find out what blood type they have?
If you come and donate at our center and give us a call after your donation, we can tell you your blood type. We don't send out a notification or a letter, but if you have the interest, then we can definitely let you know. We test it on every sample.
And what are the requirements for donating blood? And are there people who can't donate blood?
There are people that can't donate blood. It's very person specific. So there are certain medications that prevent people from donating. Of course, we want people to be healthy and well. There could be travel history that may waive you as a donor just for a short time. Typically, most people are able to donate blood. We ask that first-time donors are 120 pounds or above and feeling healthy and well. And then the other qualifications will happen at the time of donation. We'll make sure that their travel history and their health history is okay.
And what's it like when someone goes to donate? Is there any way that you can walk us through kind of a short version of the process?
Definitely. So we do ask that people sign up to donate. We're just trying to be very cautious of everyone's comfort level with COVID and our cleaning practices and social distancing. So people can make appointments by calling our center, or we also have a sign up online where people can schedule themselves. When they come to our center, they'll be greeted by staff and we'll check them in and give them an iPad. So we've switched from a paper record to an iPad, and so they can fill out the questionnaire there. Then we have a very short interview where we might ask more questions about where people have traveled or what kind of health situations they've been in the past, just to make sure that it's healthy for them to donate and healthy for our patients to receive their blood. We do a short mini physical where we do a finger stick to check to make sure that their hematocrit is high enough. And after that, we bring them over to the donation chair. That donation process takes between 7 to 15 minutes, I would say, on average, for the needle to actually be in the donor's arm. During that time, our staff love to chat with our donors. A lot of our regulars ask for specific staff, and so they have relationships, which is kind of nice just to have a fun atmosphere. After the donation, we ask for donors to kind of sit for a couple minutes, eat some snacks, make sure they're feeling well enough to get up. And so all in all, I would say a whole blood donation can take between 30 and 45 minutes in total.
And what is the website that they can go to if people are interested in doing this?
If people would like to sign up to donate blood at either of our centers, either in Fort Collins or Loveland, they can search for the Garth England Blood Center. It's GARTH. England is spelled ENGLUND. And then there's a link where they can schedule their blood donation.
What's your advice for people who are bad with donating blood?
You know, blood donation is not for everyone. Some people are afraid of needles. Some people are just afraid in general. I would say that it's worth a shot one time. You might surprise yourself, but if it doesn't work that one time, there are other ways you can contribute. You can convince your neighbor or your family members that donating blood might be a good idea. You might want to host a blood drive. We have people who host blood drives because they're not able to donate for their own reasons, but they encourage their community members to give, which is important.
How has COVID impacted blood donations?
You know, when the pandemic first started, a lot of people were just nervous. They were nervous to go out of their house. They were nervous that they might catch things. There was a lot of uncertainty. And one of the things that was maintained was that we didn't see a dip in our blood donations. There may have been little hiccups here and there, but most of our donors wanted to continue to give, which is really amazing. I will say that before the pandemic, we had a bigger focus on mobile blood drives. We went out to many different businesses in the community, and our blood drives were very successful. With the pandemic and the change in the work dynamic, a lot of people are working from home. Some businesses have consolidated. We aren't seeing as much of a request for us to go out into the community and meet people at their place of work for blood donations. Instead, we've seen a shift. Many of our donors want to come into our locations that are stationary. So they'll come into our Fort Collins location instead of waiting for us to come to their business.
I think we know a little bit more about what's going on compared to 2 years ago. So I feel like people are probably more comfortable with doing that and wanting to help. So that's great.
Yes, I agree. I think that they've learned to live with it, right? We've learned to adjust. But part of the way that I've noticed our blood donations and our donors adjusting is that they'll come in person to our centers as opposed to waiting for us to meet them in the community, which is wonderful. We are switching strategies. I'm trying to see about maybe extending our hours at our stationary locations and just dedicating staff to the locations that our donors want to come.
And is there anything else you would like to tell our listeners?
I just want to talk again about how important blood donation is. Even one time does save lives. I think it's really rare that we can do something completely selfless for a stranger, but not just any stranger, a stranger in your own community. And consistent blood donation is amazing, but even just one try to see how it goes for you, it might make you feel a way that you haven't felt before. It may make you feel like you have a purpose that you didn't know that you had in the past. At least that's how I feel about blood donation. I feel like every time I donate, I am saving someone's life, and it's the most important thing I did that day. And if there are specific questions about anyone's past, their health history, or medications that they're taking, and people are just worried about the process and want to talk through it before they try, they can always give us a call. We're happy to answer all questions that people have about blood donation.
Well, you guys are doing amazing work out there, and I'm very grateful for that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Also, Anna, I want to thank you for coming on to Tuned Into NoCo and answering these questions for our community.
Of course.
Again, that was Anna Johnson with the UCHealth Garth England Blood Center. Learn more by searching Garth England Blood Center at uchealth.org.